Hello, everyone. This is Mary Kurek with Frontrunners Innovate, and I have with me a very special guest. And you can see that she's special because she has this beautiful smile on her face. This is I'm going to say Francisca. Did I say that right? Okay, Francisca Noronha. Okay. Yeah, Francisca Noronha, because some people would say Francesca. So I'm saying Francisca Noronha. And Francisca is out of Mozambique, and she is African Youth Charter Hustler. And what a great title. And that is what got my attention, is anybody that's a hustler, I need to know who they are. But more than that, this particular effort, and that's what it is, African Youth Charter effort, has a tie to the African Union. We're going to hear from Francisca about that and some other projects that are going on. But we want to learn about her first and what brought her to this type of work. So you have the floor, my dear. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you into doing what you're doing now.
Well, hello, Mary. Thank you for this invitation and for giving me this space to speak. We know that this is our, special month. We are celebrating youth. We are celebrating, yes, exactly. We are celebrating youth. We are celebrating, the most active and also the majority. When we look over the world, the youth are the majority. So we are, it is our month. So I'm so happy to join you today. And being African Youth Charter Hustler at African Union was me, like, I was shocked actually, because they launched this announcement 1 year ago, and I was actually running like, okay, I'm youth, I'm capable, so let us see how capable I am. Okay, being woman and African, it's not easy. I'm in Mozambique right now, as you see. I'm Mozambican, and Mozambique is one of the most poorest countries of the world. In Mozambique, we have 48% of girls get married until the age of 18. Can you imagine that? So it is not easy for women. It's not easy for young women to overcome in this country. So I'm really happy for being selected, but also what motivated me during volunteerism, being volunteer and also activist, is to advocate for us to build, equality generation, safe space. Until I have been nominated to be the African Youth Charter Hustler, I have just received an invitation to attend the Mo Ibrahim Governance Weekend, and I just met some global leaders. Has Amina, she's a deputy at the UN. So it was so powerful to hear Ellen Johnson and another global leaders, women, so powerful women, Graça Machel, people who really inspired me to build a platform that they call Mozambique Visionary. Mozambique Visionary have also advocated since 2017, when I just founded, advocated for SDGs, but specifically for equality, okay, and also for access to education. Why equality and why education? As I said, Mozambique is one of the poorest countries of the world, and women and young women are the most affected by this problem. And when we look to access to education, when we look to access to health and also rights, I'm talking about reproductive life, the right to decide how and when do you want to get married. those are the basic rights to decide about our body, who can touch it, who can decide how do I dress. Those are the basic rights that have been denied for women in countries like Mozambique. And the government has struggling to achieve some of those goals, but I think that we as youth have to do something. And in Mozambique Visionary, we just built something that we call empowering women in public speaking. Because I believe that when we give tools to youth, when we give tools that are in demand in 21st century, women can be capable to speak up, to speak by themselves. And this is so powerful. By creating this initiative, we have, empowered more than 3,000 of girls in the last 2 years. So it was so great for me to see that we are capable to empower each other, and we didn't have even resources to do this. So we have the COVID pandemic, and it was like, okay, how are we going to do it? Because in Mozambique, internet is very expensive, It is difficult in Mozambique to have access to internet, especially in rural areas.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do you have a question?
No, I'm agreeing with you. Yes, that's hard.
So we just tried to use Zoom, but Zoom was difficult because in 2020 we were not just familiarized as we are today with Zoom and other platforms. And we just tried to do it virtual and some physical. It was not easy, actually, because Mozambique is the biggest country. We have 11 provinces. So can you imagine how it is to try to include those girls that are in rural areas? It was not easy, but we did it. So unfortunately, this year was not possible because we didn't have funds to go through. COVID-19 have just let us down, but we're struggling to see what we can do, even recognizing that this year have just ended. In 2020, I just received this notification from the African Union, specifically from the office of the Youth Envoy, saying that I have been selected from thousands of young women that have been running for being also selected. And I was so happy. Maybe just let me tell you that African Youth Chapter Hustler, it is an initiative of the African Union Office of the Youth Envoy with the technical support of the African Youth Division and in collaboration of the United Nations Institute for Training and Research. And this initiative aims to select, over the 54 countries that are members of the African Union. Two, which one is women, must be women, and another boy. Men. One girl and one boy to be a kind of advocate, ambassador of the African Youth Charter. And one of the missions of the Afghan youth of these hustlers is to lead at continental, regional, and at national level the advocacy for ratification for those countries that didn't ratify the charter, the African Youth Charter, and also to advocate for an effective implementation of the charter, because we know that there are many challenges. We have the Agenda 2063, we have also the Agenda 2030, and many countries are still struggling to ensure that young women have been included. But also we have countries like Mozambique that have ratified and adopted the charter, the African Youth Charter. I mean, yeah, but there are many challenges when you overlook to access to education in youth, when you look to access to employment, there are still many challenges. So we have to, I mean, advocate and also doing monitoring and also see if the reporting mechanisms are really working. So we are trying to do this year. We have hosted some meetings with the local government in Mozambique, and also we organized some webinars. We did also some collection of good practices from the government institution, but also with civil society organizations to see who is doing what, who is really doing his own role, and what we can do to not just to support, but also to see if there is effective implementation of the charter. So for now, I'll stop here.
Yeah, this is good. I've been taking notes. I do have questions about what you were just saying. What age group within the charter? I mean, what age group of participants do you have?
Yeah, this is why I said men and women. It is young. Actually, we work with youth. Sorry,
Okay.
It was a mistake. Youth, yeah, youth, young women and young boys. Young.
Okay. Is there an age cutoff? Like,
well, age depends on the countries, but the countries like Mozambique and many of African countries consider youth or young people, those who have between 18 maybe to 40 to 30, sorry, 18
okay.
to 30.
To 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are there charters then in all of the different African countries, or is that something that you're working to help push along? Okay.
No. Thank God I'm not just alone. We have another we have another 54 African youth charter hustlers from different countries across all the African continent. So we have been doing this Pan-Africanism movement to build a network, a strong network. We have some colleagues from Congo, from Angola. So we have been working together to ensure that we can raise up our voices, especially from young women, because we know that we are the majority in Africa and over the world.
Yes. You are. This is fantastic. I didn't know that this existed, and these are opportunities that we want to be able to share with the young ladies that might be watching this, to be able to say, if you didn't know this existed in your country, then go see if you can find where there's a charter, a charter near you that you can be involved in and start speaking, using your voice like you're doing. So let's talk about what's yet to come. What are you anticipating? What are you hoping for the next year? Hopefully we're coming out of pandemic. I don't know. I mean, I was listening to the news this morning. In the US, we've got another rise in COVID. So hopefully it's not that bad where you are, but what are you expecting for your country and the efforts that you're doing now for what are the plans for the next year?
Well, actually we have an action plan. And one of the activities for 2022 is to translate the African Youth Charter, African Youth Charter in local languages, because we recognize that many African countries have many local languages. So can you try to imagine countries like Mozambique? You go to the sort of countries, you have Xingana, and you have for example, you do have Bitonga. There are different languages. Then you have Kiswahili. So many languages, and we do have to ensure that those young people and young women have access to this information, to ensure that the governments, they are fulfilling with their duties, and also ensure that they can also say, no, this is not well, but how can I request something that I don't know, that I have right to? So we are trying to do this. This is one of our strong, I think this is going to be one of our very interesting activity. Also, we are thinking on creating a volunteer body. I don't know, but we are still thinking on this. We have this planet. Maybe we are going to recruit some volunteers across all the country, and maybe in partnership with another hustlers, we are going to work together to ensure that we can involve more young people in this process of not just ratification, but also effective implementation of the charter.
That is a sort of a nice full plate that you've got there for somebody who just said that you didn't have some resources to do all the things that you've been doing over the last year. So let me ask you this. It makes sense to me that certainly this is an African-centric project because it's, tied to the African Union. But as somebody who has developed youth leadership programs, one thing that kind of frustrates me a little bit is the fact that people tend to look inside their own local areas and not really beyond that. And I feel like as a globe, we need to start developing our global citizenship and our sense of diversity and tolerance and understanding of each other, and expressing love and joy, if you want to go that far with everybody around the world. And I think the only way to do that is to expose people to other people beyond their borders. What do you think about that? And is there some idea of incorporating that kind of programming in the future?
Well, yes, we do have. One of the, objective of this African Youth Charter Hustlers Initiative is to advocate for the 2063 agenda and 2030 agenda. Yeah. So it is global. Yep. By the way, it is global.
You can't miss that with the SDGs. That is global.
We can. We can. So one of the things that we have been doing is to involve, for example, this year we have tried to, in occasion of the Youth International Day, we have celebrated with different actors that are not just government, from the government or civil society in Mozambique. We tried to bring people from, for example, from Canada, which are youth, of course, and they have shared some experiences. I think this is one of the windows that we can found. We have found it to include, this global citizen spirit that is really necessary to ensure that we are not just in our own world, because today we have the globalization. We are speaking now. If we didn't have the technology, the Zoom, if the world was just just our own world, this was not possible. I'm speaking and I don't know how many of the country, of the African, of the world are seeing me in this moment. So, wow, I would say.
Well, I can tell you in the course of a month you'll get views from 80 different countries. And a lot of those will be African, but yeah. So, and over the course of a year, we get views from about 160 different countries. So, you're going to be seen in a lot of different countries. For sure.
Oh, I'm so happy hearing that. So we are trying to evolve different partners, different people, young people from different backgrounds, because we believe that our countries like Mozambique have many things to learn from another countries, because we recognize that, for example, when we look to index of access to education, when we look to the index of when you look to disabilities, when we look to the SDG goals, targets, how our governments and actually how the youth is trying to do something to achieve those goals. What are we doing? Why not to connect with another brothers and sisters and try to ensure that together we can do it? So we are open. We are trying to do. I mean, we don't have many resources, as I said, but we do have these webinars, reflections. We do have also a space to ensure that we can, for example, collect opinions for positions. I mean, those positions and position papers, not just from Mozambican hustlers, but from different countries. So we are open to this. Yes.
I'm loving that. You know, that's right up my alley. Youth around the world. This is great. Well, you know, I've been taking some notes about this, and I hope there are some people that are watching right now that are in and around your area, for sure, that are, if they're not of the right age right now, will be at some point. We have a lot of youth that we bring in that, that I interview, because I love that. I love the energy. And I feel like you guys, you know, we say that you're the future, but you're really the future now, because, you know, you have your voice. And the voice means something. And so when I interview people that I feel like might be the kind of advocate that can help spur change in governance that maybe needs to happen, or provides leadership to bring some other youth together to collectively create a situation where policies get changed and laws get enacted that are supportive of where we need to go in as you know, as human beings in the future. I definitely want to give, you know, support and, you know, give a spotlight to people like you. So this is great. I want to applaud you and praise you for all that you've been doing. Hang on with me for just a second, and I'm going to say goodbye to everybody else and say, all of you, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, go to www.frontrunnersinnovate.com. You'll see this interview, and we'll have some links for you so that you can connect with Francisca and, you know, maybe through LinkedIn or something like that, or if there's a website, I'm sure she'll provide it for us. And, you know, definitely check her out. And we'll say goodbye to you for now. And Francisca, stay on for just a second, if you will. So bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.